Our top focus this news week. An Air India flight flying in from Kochi had a close shave whilst landing in Mumbai after it veered off the runway soaked in and drenched in rain. Pictures show a clump of grass that was stuck to the rear part of this aircraft and signs of damage on one of the engines as well. The runway, we're talking about the Mumbai airport, the runway 2 has been damaged. All the passengers aboard the aircraft, they disembarked safely. Visuals showed the nacelle of the right engine, the housing that surrounds the engine, damaged, evidently having made contact during what it called a runway excursion. The damage to the nacelle means a part of the engine had an impact with the tarmac or the soft side of the runway. And the clump of grass that you see on your screens as well, this is in the rear part of the engine that indicates the deep impact that the aircraft sustained. 3 signage boards and 4 runway edge lights were found broken after the incident. According to Air India, the aircraft has been grounded for checks and the inspection is underway. But the 2 pilots have been de-rostered pending an inquiry into what led to this particular runway landing scare. Wing Commander Lok Sabha, aviation expert, with me on the broadcast here. Wing Commander, first and foremost, with all the information that we have, the nacelle that is destroyed, this clump of grass that was stuck to the rear part of the engine, and the tire bursting theory as well. I mean, of course, it was raining, and that's nothing new to Mumbai airport per se. Air India, just a fortnight ago, as a matter of fact, less than a fortnight ago, came out with that statement that the entire Boeing fleet of all the various models that it houses in its particular carrier fleet, they have to undergo several other checks. This was a new compliance order that was put out by the Civil Aviation Ministry as well. So even as Air India says that all those inspections are being done, another aircraft that landed today, tires burst, it veered off the runway, it had its wing touched down on the aircraft. I mean, the engine could have very well blown up into flames as well, causing a major tragedy.
Yes, Kabir, I have worked there at Mumbai Airport. I was AGM Airside Operations at Mumbai Airport, and this was exactly my duty and responsibilities to ensure safe airside operations, which included a runway and taxiway operations of all the aircraft. Yeah. So here, you know, the runway must have been wet, as it is. The rains were reported. Number one. Number two, the only wet runway will not cause this kind of a veering off of the aircraft. Either the aircraft landed in an asymmetrical manner, the load being concentrated on one side, and it is skidded onto the shoulders, which is having, you know, unpaved surface, muddy grasses. That's how this cowling is damaged. So, but the report says that there were a couple of tire bursts. This alarms me, because this veering off just by contamination of runway surface or by a little more watering on the surface will not cause tire burst. It will only cause the skidding of the aircraft.
That's right.
So tire burst indicates that there could be some FOD on the runway. Could be. It could be one of the 2 reasons, either the FOD which caused this tire burst, or the problem in the computer controls upon the landing. Sometimes the computer gives a wrong indication and the tire gets automatically locked. It has happened with many airlines upon landing.
No, but wait a minute, Wing Commander. You see, the Mumbai airport, and you know, I've visited hotels near the Mumbai airport as well. You can see a direct string of aircraft coming and landing one after the other. So if there is an FOD on the runway, or let's say there is chances of aquaplaning because there's a lot of water also on the runway, what happens then? I mean, do we have the right kind of authorities on the ground that can quickly carry out a quick inspection? Because the planes come in quite frequently and one after the other. So is there space and time between 2 subsequent landings where somebody can go in and maybe carry out a check on one of these main runways? What really happened in this particular case?
Kabir, what happens that because of earnings and to ensure more amount of landings, the gap between the 2 landing aircraft is too less, sometimes just about a minute. And in that gap, no vehicle can go for the runway inspections. So what happens in coordination with ATC controllers, you know, sometimes after about half an hour or so, they will keep the gap a little more and they will coordinate with the ground people. The gypsy will be ready on the runway shoulders, and the moment that last aircraft in that sequence lands, and there is a gap of say about 3-4 minutes or 5 minutes, so the ATC controller gives a clearance, and this gypsy immediately rushes on the main runway and does a runway inspection. But this is, of course, definitely a shortcut method. You cannot have a full scale.
Is that the problem here, Wing Commander? I mean, take a look at what we've been, seeing over the last month and a half. Lack of time and using shortcuts because of that lack of time. I think that's a major factor in our aviation security.
One more thing, Kabir. Here the runways, there are 2 runways, but these are cross runway at Mumbai airport. So what happens? You keep one runway free and do the maintenance work there, and you keep changing the runway in use and do the maintenance work. But what about the cross section? Any runway is being operational, that crossing portion is always left. So that portion is mostly neglected. So there is a time slot given of about 15 minutes from 2:45 to 3 a.m. in morning. Then everybody keeps ready, all people, men and material, they just enter, do the maintenance and come back. So the timing is a premium. Time is premium. There is no doubt about it that the Mumbai airport being a cross runway, not parallel runway, the maintenance is a very challenging job.
Wing Commander, you have the right kind of expertise when it comes to, the sequence of planes, one after the other landing, especially on the Mumbai airport. It is one of the most busiest airports, if not of the world, of the country. And this damage picture that we're constantly showing, the nacelle of the engine, does this worry you? I mean, imagine you yourself sitting inside the aircraft, and then one of the wing, it goes off, veers off into the unpaved area, and one of the wing lowers down and hits the tarmac. I mean, if I was sitting inside the aircraft, I would be fearing for dear life right now. And this damage picture tells us that this is a major tragedy that got averted as well.
Yes, I can tell you, because if this engine has touched the ground, and had it touched some stone or some hard structure, it could have sparked also, caused a sparking, and could have caused a fire also. This is a very dangerous thing. Toppling of aircraft in any asymmetrical manner off the runway is a very dangerous situation.
What might be the speed of the aircraft? What might be the speed of the aircraft, Wing Commander, at this particular juncture?
So it depends where has it veered off, If it is veered off at the later stage, the speed would be very less, could be 60-70 kilometers. But if it is in the beginning, where the touchdown and closer to the touchdown, then the speed would be much faster, and then the veering off is very dangerous.
Engine and a turbine of that size, I think 70 kilometers of speed would have been good enough for it to catch flames and go up into, complete a blast in a smoke. So, fortunately, all the passengers and the crew, they disembarked safely, and that's a good thing that's happened. Monsoon, not new. Particularly to, of course, Mumbai airport. But Wing Commander, we do need your inputs on this next particular story that we're bringing for all our viewers as well. Constantly tracking the update of that Bangladeshi Air Force training aircraft that crashed into a school campus. This school campus situated in Dhaka's northern Uttara area. This happened on Monday afternoon. According to military and fire officials that have now confirmed this crash, so has the Bangladeshi army spokesperson as well. All right, shifting our focus here, we're going to quickly cut our focus to the Rajya Sabha, where Vice President Dhaka now addressing the House.
A committee consisting of 3 members, of whom one shall be chosen from among the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court, one shall be chosen from among the Chief Justices of the High Courts, and one shall be a person who is, in the opinion of the Speaker, or as the case may be, chairman or distinguished jurist. And before that, it is given that if a notice given of a motion for presenting an address to the President praying for removal of a judge signed by, in the case of a notice given in the House of People by not less than 100 members of the House, and in the case of a notice given in the Council of States by not less than 50 members of the Council, then the Speaker, or as the case may be, the Chairman may, after consulting such persons, if any, as he thinks fit, and after considering such material or materials, if any, as may be available to him, either admit the motion or refuse to admit the same. But coming to a motion that has been presented in both the houses on the same day, it says, provided that where notice of a motion referred to in subsection 1 are given on the same day in both the houses of parliament, no committee shall be constituted unless the motion has been admitted in both the houses, and where such motion has been admitted in both houses, the committee shall be constituted jointly by the Speaker and the Chairman. So since the provisions are different, I have directed the Secretary General to update whether such a motion has also been moved in the House of the People. Honorable Law Minister, are you aware? Motion has been moved.
हाँ, मोशन स्पीकर साहब के पास जो है वो सांसदों ने मिलकर के दिया है.
कर दिया. In that case, since the Honorable Law Minister is present here and has so indicated that a similar motion has come to be presented by requisite number of members of Parliament of Lok Sabha, requisite more than 100.
More than 100, 152, I think.
More than 100. To the Honorable Speaker, Lok Sabha, the provisions of rule, provisions of section 3, subsection 2, proviso will come into effect, and the Secretary General will take necessary steps in this direction. Honorable members, I need to inform you that in December, a motion under Article 124 was submitted for my consideration for removal of a judge of a High Court of Allahabad. That motion was purportedly from 55 members. I examined that and found that one particular member had signed at 2 places. The result was that the representation, the motion, indicated there are 55 members seeking removal, but actually it was not 55, it was only 54. So obviously an inquiry was conducted to find out from the member who had signed twice, allegedly. The honorable member declined his second signature, and that made the matter a little more serious, because it was required of me then to get to the bottom of the issue and find out whether the representation was meriting consideration. And the process was initiated for verification of signatures and authentication. That process is under progress. I will get an update and come back to the House. I have already indicated to this august House on an earlier occasion that if the requisite number of members who verify their signatures and the number goes above 50 or more, I would proceed and deal with the issue of a signature that has been twice there and not owned by the member in a different manner. Because if a motion carries 2 signatures of the same member and the honorable member declines that he has not signed at 2 places but he has signed only at 1 place, the matter becomes serious and culpable. This august House has to set very high standards. If we do not live up to the highest expectations of the people, then we will be putting things under the carpet and not subjecting them to deep investigation. I will discuss with the floor leaders as to what steps this House needs to take with respect of such kinds of transgressions. I must also indicate to this august House that there was an occasion in this House where on seat number 222, a pad of rupees 500 notes was found. What is more surprising and deeply concerning is not that a pad of notes was found, but no one has owned it. No one has claimed it. This is quite serious. I had asked the authorities to get into the matter seriously, but it appears now that the matter will have to be dealt with, and that too I will put before the floor leaders for further consideration and guidance. Dr. Sikandar Kumar, concern over increasing drug addiction in youth and its impact.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak on important subject, that is concern over increasing drug addiction in youth and its.
Justice Yashwant Verma impeachment process now being taken up in the Parliament. At least 145 members of Parliament in the Lok Sabha that have signed and given that motion to the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, and of course more than 60 others in the upper house of the Parliament. And now the Vice President, Jagdeep Dhankar, who's also the chair of the Rajya Sabha, has directed the Secretary General to take steps in this direction. It's going to be very interesting to see where this impeachment process actually goes on for. Is there any sort of relief coming from the apex court for Justice Yashwant Verma? A quick break here. Lots of updates coming right on the other side. Keep it with News Now.